One thing that we do need to talk about, guys, and this is the biggest thing, we have got the mayor coming in very, very soon. Yeah. Obviously, very big into elections, and that's a nice little tangent into the thing that we really do need to talk about. Yeah. Semester 2 is a very, very important month for presidents.
Yeah.
Officers, some student unions call them elected representatives, whatever you want to call it, but you guys are the presidents. So let's talk about elections, because they are coming up and there's a lot of information. Yeah. What's going on with the elections? So am I right in thinking that not all of you are re-going for them this year? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Blessing and Harsha. Yeah?
Yeah. You're not rerunning.
You're not rerunning, is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
So do you want to talk to me a little bit about what's your choice to not rerun? Have you got a different focus? Have you decided that you've done what you wanted to do? What's your reason for not rerunning?
So basically it's part of my long-term educational plan. So I've just completed my BSc and then I'll be going on to do my masters, and the idea is to finish everything before 30. So
great. So you're on plan with where you want to be, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harsha.
My plan is for the complete my studies completely and focus on my career, future employability kind of thing.
So yours is the same again. It's about having that long-term goal and that long-term plan
goals,
to do what you needed to do. You've done this. You've had your term for a year, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. Very exciting.
Yeah, I had a very great experience so far.
I was going to say, did you gain lots of experience? Is it a valuable thing? Yeah?
Definitely.
Would you encourage other people to go for it?
Yeah,
100%.
Really?
You get to learn a lot more things than you expect in a normal day. You get to experience different things. I know there's the job description for each role, but it goes far more than what the job description says.
So the job description is one thing, but then obviously there's a lot of other things to that as well. A lot of experience. I imagine you've met with some people in the university that you would never have met with.
Definitely.
Had you done
some
something else.
Connections even outside of the university as well. Got to build on so many skills as well.
Yeah.
There's been loads of travel opportunities as well, going down to our London campus, attending various conferences. It's been lovely.
That's
getting
really
to meet other officers across universities as well.
Yeah, and obviously we've still got you for another 6 months, so that's important. But at this time, we're encouraging other people to definitely stand to have a look at the elections information. Ebebechi.
Yeah.
So these guys are abandoning you. I'm joking.
I am heartbroken.
So you're going to rerun. You're rerunning for the similar role, same role that you're doing at the moment.
Yes.
So what's made you make the decision that you want to rerun? Why have you come to that conclusion?
Okay. First of all, it's a career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've graduated.
Yes.
Yeah, and then for me, this is a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apart from being answering the title President International, it's also a job. Yeah. So far so good. I have learned a lot. Those few months being there, a whole lot, and then my idea about so many things has changed.
Yes.
And all thanks to the staffs and our chief exec, Courtesy. Yeah, she knows how to pattern someone in line and make you understand the reason or the purpose of why you are sitting in that position. And so far, I've been able to understand the reason why I'm there. Just like Blessing said, it's a good opportunity, but the duties and the effectiveness is just more than the job description.
Yeah.
So for you to be effective, you need to go an extra mile. And then for you to tell yourself you've achieved a lot is when you see people telling you, oh, thank you. I have been able to get past through this hurdle or through the struggle, and then you see people being happy that what they complained about is being settled. So for me, I think it's a way of building my skills in administration, in leadership, and then trying to channel my path into working with students, and then
so you're drawing everything together, the skills, the experience, and you're taking that forward. And obviously you've still got things that you want to do, which is why, like you said, you want to rerun.
Yes,
so best of luck with that as well. Obviously, the positions are a paid position. You get a lot of experience. There's a lot of opportunities for networking, for being involved. Now, one thing that we always have to say this is, why would you encourage people to vote? Because some people are a bit apolitical. They don't tend to get involved. So what would you say to people that are thinking, I don't know, I'm not too sure about voting? Why should they be voting?
one of the reasons I would give would be, you know, for representation. You know, if you want to see someone that looks like you in that role, then you need to vote for someone that looks like you. If you want to see someone that's passionate about a specific subject area that you're passionate about, then you need to vote the person that's passionate about said subject area. I think that's the one.
Yeah, to be involved. If you want to see change, you want to see somebody with passion. Same for you guys, it's the same kind of thing?
For me, mainly important. Like every student faces different problems. Like if you think a candidate is worth for, like if you have any concern, if this candidate wants, like he can go to person to me all the time. Like he can raise our voices to the university. Yeah, so those kind of person, vote for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if you are not interested among any of the other candidates, vote for reopen nomination.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, we didn't touch on that one, but reopen nomination, Ron. Ron is always there.
Yeah.
And that's if no candidate takes your fancy, but you still want to be involved inside the actual election itself. Now, would you still encourage people to not only vote but also to run for the positions as well?
Yeah, I will.
Even though it could put you out of a job if you say somebody goes in, but it's about having that opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about having the opportunity, about learning, about making people to realize, you know, this position has actually made us to know that there are certain things in us that we didn't know we could do.
Yeah.
And then we tend to start seeing ourselves manifest in those directions, and then we're doing so really well. Yeah, so I would advise anyone to run for it. If you want to come out for it, do. Yeah, it's democracy within.
It's absolutely, that's it, isn't it? It's a democratic process, and it's all about people voting, whether you're going to be running for it or whether you just want to vote inside it. Make sure you do. I can give you a bit of information. Obviously, if people do want to find out more information about running, if you visit tees-su.org.uk/elections, it's got all the key dates, all the information, videos, downloads, all the links that you need to actually be involved with the actual democratic process. With key dates in mind, nominations are open. Do you guys know when that is off the top of your head?
Yeah,
17th to the 21st.
Yes.
So that's when the nominations are open. So that's really, really soon. We've got to meet the candidates on Thursday, the 27th.
Yeah.
That's the date I was remembering.
That's the day you were. So that's an opportunity for the candidates, the people that are going forward, for students to meet those people. You can ask them questions. You know, you can actually see, is that person the person that I think they are, or do I need to look elsewhere, depending on what they've actually said. The voting takes place on Monday, the 3rd of March.
3rd of March, yeah.
So it's not really that far away, is it, to be honest? It's coming around very, very quickly.
Less than weeks.
Let's say 1 week.
Less than 2-3 weeks.
Less than 3 weeks, and then we'll be there. And of course, all the results come out on Wednesday, the 5th of March. Now, elections are for everybody. It doesn't matter your background. You should consider being a candidate if you want to get involved with your students' union. You want to shape the students' union going forward. And everybody should vote. I'm a big fan that everybody should vote. You can't turn around and criticise a situation
if you don't
don't be part of it. You know, you can't turn around and say they were bad or they were really good. You're not in a position to do that if you've never taken the time to be involved and do it. So I would say to everybody, all students watching this, be a part of it. Shape the future of your students' union and your university by making sure that you're voting or by becoming a candidate. There's a lot to get from it. I think you guys could testify to that. There's a lot to be gained from being a president of Teesside University Students' Union. Why do you think elections? See, these guys, some of them are re-standing for election. You'll know all about that. 2 of them have decided that they don't want to. They're abandoning the third. I've got to stop saying that. 2 of them have decided to move on with it. See, I know. I don't need you crying or sneezing or singing.
Yeah, don't worry.
But obviously, elections are important and voting's important.
Yes.
What would you say to anybody that was thinking about it? We've talked a little bit about it. From your point of view, though, why is it important?
Because it's about that representation, and every vote is important.
Yeah.
And there's different sort of ways to think about it, but for me, I always think about the fact of I represent people who have been in the care system. I represent people who come from that more deprived background. So my vote is to ensure that actually we get that representation in there. For other people, and there's other ways of looking at it, but people that I know also often think about the person whose vote that they would like to cancel and using their vote as a way of
countermeasure,
negating that vote. And for me, that's also really important, because if you think about some of the people that are in politics and surround themselves in politics, and some of the rhetoric that you can sometimes hear, which is negative and just vile, actually that's just as important, voting for what you believe in as well as voting to ensure that
what you don't believe in doesn't get passed.
Yeah, and it's a really important sort of balance.
It's interesting you say that, because I often think that some people wouldn't have said that. You know, you often think that your politics, you vote for the person that you want in, but you're right. There's a political aspect. It's like a giant game of chess in elements. You've got to figure out the pieces and what pieces you prioritise.
Yeah,
don't you?
absolutely.
So yeah, that's quite interesting to make sure that you are, because you've got to be voting in order to enact change. You know, you've got to be voting in order. I said this earlier to the guys. In order to criticise a system, you need to be a part of that system to fully understand it. To be able, if you know, you can't turn around and say, "I don't like the way this is being run."
Yeah.
If you've never turned around and had any input into it and didn't decide it was going to be done, you can dislike it, but if you're not going to enact change or you're not going to do something, it's just hot air, isn't it?
And it's often the communities that need change most that then don't vote.
Right.
Because there's a belief that nothing will ever change. Well, nothing won't ever change if those people then don't vote.
Yeah. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Absolutely, yeah.
Because apathy, and I get it, I completely get it. If you are struggling with the fact that you're living in damp conditions, you don't exactly know how you're going to get food on the table over the next 2 weeks, voting, is that really a priority in your head?
Yeah.
But actually, that's exactly when voting should be a priority. Is in those circumstances, because the only way to get effective change is by mobilisation. Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty deep for this one. No, that's important. And obviously, when would be the next election for Middlesbrough? Obviously, there are political positions. I assume that your office, those positions get voted in, don't they?
Yes. So my position gets voted in, and then from that, I'm then able to pull in who I would like, essentially.
Yeah.
From that into the executive, which is a different system to some of the other places. The other places, the councillors vote for each of the individual ones after the election from the people.
So you have control really over your councillors and your choice. So
which is
so it's about making the decision at the top, and then you get to you have a bit of autonomy over your members.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's really, really important. But 2027 is the next date.
Right. So there's still time to hopefully get things done that you want to get done and continue with all that. What would you say to anybody that's not in relation to your office, but in relation to anybody thinking about being a candidate to any kind of political position? Because these guys are going 2 steps away, so we're going to have new candidates. We're going to have people that are sat there that are watching this thinking, should I bother being a candidate? What's in it? What would I do it for? What would you say to anybody that's considering it?
So you should absolutely do it. So even if you don't win, the experience is really important, and the experience of listening to people and understanding different viewpoints and ensuring that people are heard. Even if you're not successful at the end, that bit is so crucial. Some people really, really enjoy the process. For me, I think sometimes it's one of the best parts of it is the campaign.
Right.
The bit that comes afterwards is great. But that part where you're doing the most intensive piece of communication and listening is incredibly important. And you condense so many hours of otherwise like walkabouts or surgeries into just a few weeks.
Yes.
And that's crucial.
Quite intense, quite busy.
Yeah.
But I imagine the amount of people that you get to meet from doing that. We always say to our presidents-elect whenever they're going through this process is get out and talk to people.
Yeah.
Because that's the people that you want. You need to have that kind of connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, in order for them to understand how you are or who you are or what you stand for, you need to speak to people.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing with you,
No,
but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, and I think it's regardless of what the position is, just make sure that you're doing it with the sort of the right intent. You're going into it with your eyes open, and you're ensuring that you almost pick the voices as you're going through the campaign that you then want to champion.
Yeah.
Because you could start your campaign with a mindset about wanting to achieve one thing, but actually don't be fixed on it, because after you listen to all the people and you go through the campaign, you might end up changing what your focus needs to be, because what you think in your own mind might not reflect the needs of the community or the people you wish to represent. So you have to have that flexibility.
You've got to allow for a bit of organic growth.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So as it moves through, you can kind of go, oh, well, actually, the thing that I thought was an issue has changed, just even if it's just changed slight tact. It's just a case of, we just need to reposition ourselves on this. And you'd only get through that through talking to people and learning about them and understanding them.